Bang, and welcome back. Our next speaker is the new interim CEO and Chief Strategy Officer of CoinMarketCap, where she defines the vision and initiatives of the company. She also is the head of marketing at CoinMarketCap, where she leads the company on execution, branding, and growth. She previously co-funded an AI platform which was acquired. She has built machine learning natural language processing models for extractive AI summarizations, stuff that I'm really into, and has developed and launched new products in markets like the US, Hong Kong, India, and Singapore with American Express, M3, and AGT. She is also probably one of the biggest oolong tea enthusiasts you will ever meet. Please put your virtual hands together for Carylyne Chan. Welcome, Carylyne, and over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carylyne, and I'm the current interim CEO and also the Chief Strategy Officer at CoinMarketCap. Welcome to our presentation at BlockDown 2020. Today, I want to share a little bit with you about our view of where Q1 has gone for crypto, just based on our data, as well as a couple of things that we've noticed in our traffic data, and just kind of walk you through our thoughts around that, the kind of the interesting data points that we've seen. According to CoinMarketCap, it's actually a series that we've been running for a little while, since 2018. So it started as a report that I put out to kind of share the interesting stats that we see on the website. And I think we've seen a lot of people really enjoy the unique insight that comes out of that. So we've taken to really presenting and also sharing those reports a lot more often from then on. So today, I'm going to share with you the Q1 version of according to CoinMarketCap. So hopefully you will enjoy that. So let's jump over to the slides. So some context for some of you who may or may not know about CoinMarketCap. So CoinMarketCap is the #1 crypto information site in the world. So we started in 2013, and we were the first people to use market cap as a measure for the cryptocurrency market. So that's been something that we pioneered together with another metric called the circulating supply. And we also popularized the term Bitcoin dominance. So all of these were things as part of our story history at CoinMarketCap. So some of you would also know that we recently got acquired, but we are still staying extremely independent as a business. So CoinMarketCap is the most referenced, the most trusted source used by individuals, by institutions, by governments, by media to compare thousands of crypto assets and hundreds of across hundreds of different crypto exchanges. So in that regard, I think CMC has done a good job of making sure that we keep the data accurate, we keep the data current, as well as attracting millions of users to our site continuously for the past 7 years. So diving into the data, so in Q1 of 2020, we actually saw pretty strong demand early on. So Bitcoin reached a peak of 10.5K in Q1, kind of bucking the trend from the last quarter where we actually saw pretty low demand from across the crypto market in general. So for the market cap of the entire crypto space, we actually saw it reached 350 billion at the start of Q1. And then COVID-19 happened to the crypto space. So on March 12th, Bitcoin actually dropped all the way 43% to 3.9K. So overall, you can see like a big difference between start of Q1 crypto market cap, which was 350 billion, and the crypto market cap kind of in mid-March, where it fell 57% to 150 billion. So at this moment, we are definitely on the way to recovery, though. The crypto markets have largely retraced as of March 31st. They actually outperformed several of, I guess, safe haven traditional assets such as the S&P 500, SPDR, S&P China ETF, the silver spot market, MSCI World Index, and so forth. So you can kind of see from the chart here that the Bitcoin as well as the total crypto market cap actually dipped less than some of these markets that we just mentioned. So that's kind of an interesting data point that we've seen in comparison. So overall, we would say the crypto assets, crypto asset market, the crypto market cap in general has outperformed most of the global benchmarks for equities. And if we dive a little bit more into what that looks like within the crypto market, it was actually a pretty mixed picture. So not everything was up, not everything was down. So when we looked into analyzing some of the trends in the market, we used two of our most unique lenses. First is obviously market cap, as per the name CoinMarketCap. And the second would be user insights. So like I said, we do have millions of users that come to CoinMarketCap every month. So we are at an aggregate level, able to see what people are interested in, what they are interacting with on the site. So diving deep in here into market cap. So we would say that contrary to the safe haven, safe asset sort of theory of Bitcoin actually suffered the most drop across the top 10 assets on average. So obviously some of them did suffer greater losses than Bitcoin did, but Bitcoin as a whole versus top 10 as a whole, it did suffer greater relative losses versus the top 10 on average. So obviously that kind of goes against the, like I said, the safe asset sort of theory, but at the same time, there's also the theory that because more institutional investors actually helped Bitcoin, they were basically divesting their stake in Bitcoin just as they were divesting their stake in other safe haven assets as well, like S&P 500 and things like that, because just kind of against the market sentiment at that time. So maybe in the long run, this could be a good thing. Just means that there's more adoption. There's just a wider base of people who were trying to get cash by divesting some of their assets here. On the other hand, we see different gainers here. So some of the top ones are Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin SV. So we can see Ethereum has gone up 3.29% in this period. Bitcoin Cash has gone up 10%, and Bitcoin SV actually went up 76%, which is really, really significant. So these were the three assets that came out of Q1 better than they started Q1, and they bucked the global risk-off sentiment where people were kind of divesting their stakes at multiple assets. So looking at BSV and BCH in general, we can see like these two particular crypto assets gathered the most interest in the top 10. So actually, when we started Q1, BSV was at 36, and it went all the way up to 7. And then BCH actually started on 24, but shot up to 10. So I think these were the two that definitely bucked the trend the most in the top 10 crypto asset ranking. On like a more kind of interesting note as well, going beyond just the market trends, we can see that the traffic from the Chinese market fell, coinciding with the start of the COVID-19 pandemic measures that were put in place. So we see traffic from China actually fell pretty drastically. They went from the 13th spot to the 24th spot in this period, and it was the only country that fell more than 10 spots in the top 25 ranks that we have in terms of geographical traffic that we get. So the decline mainly happened in the period of January 14th to January 25th. I suppose at the time, that's kind of when some of the more severe measures were being put in place around shelter in place in terms of city lockdowns and things like that. And obviously there is also a theory that because of kind of the, I suppose, stricter controls around what you can do on the internet, the access to CSC might have been blocked as well, but that's just a theory. Overall, I think like the traffic is pretty representative of general trends and interest. So I think this was, I think people just had more things to worry about than checking CoinMarketCap at the time. So another piece of interesting traffic data that we've seen, this is from the demographics sort of perspective, would be we've actually seen really big increases in female users as well as the younger age group of 18 to 24-year-old users. So if I dive a little bit deeper here into the female users, where we saw a 43% growth in this quarter, we've actually seen consistent growth in female users over the last few quarters, actually. But this was definitely one of the more significant jumps that we've seen. And it's across all age groups, right? But especially in the 18 to 24 year old age group, we see that female users actually jumped 65%. So we grew 65% more female users than we did in the last quarter. And they mostly came from the Americas and Europe. So that's kind of where most of our newer female users came from across all age groups. Similarly, we saw about a 46.04% rise in the younger age group of 18 to 24-year-old users. So they especially came from Oceania and Africa. So for Oceania, I think it was led by Australia. In Africa, it was led by users in Nigeria. So I think these are some of the significant stats that we've seen on the back end. So this is actually pretty interesting because we've heard a lot from our younger users around why they're coming to CoinMarketCap more often. And part of it is, people are looking at what's happening on a macroeconomic level. They're looking at how S&P or DJI is falling. They are more interested in alternative asset classes like crypto. So I think there's definitely an effect there where a lot of this interest in the macroeconomic environment, as well as the impact of the virus on the economy, has been driving younger users and I suppose also female users to look at crypto as an alternative asset class that they could invest in. And also just by the divisible nature of crypto, that's obviously something that is attractive because you don't need a lot of money to start investing. You don't have any really complicated requirements, KYC requirements or AML requirements to start investing. So that's also contributing significantly as well to the number of new users that are coming onto CoinMarketCap. So all in all, I think we would say that the crypto industry is still very nascent, like just from the volatility, just from how like the demographics are constantly shifting. We can see it's still a very much evolving space. So for us at CoinMarketCap, what we're trying to do is to address information asymmetry by kind of doing more of these types of presentations, showing the data, telling people more about what's happening around the world, and hoping that more people will be able to do more with this information. For example, knowing where to target geographically, or speaking more in your marketing messages to the younger crowd, things like that. So I think all of these are things that we're committed to doing as we continue to grow CoinMarketCap as the number one info source within the crypto space. So if you have any other questions around what that looks like, definitely try to reach out to us. But also coming up in the end of April, we do have our Q1 report kind of all collated in a document for you. So you can always analyze the trends in your own time beyond this presentation. So it will have more unique data. It will have more details there. So definitely try to look out for that Q1 2020 report coming out end of this month. In June, we are also going to upgrade our liquidity metric. So this is a metric that we launched last year in November during our own Beat Capital global conference. So we spoke a lot about the challenges around volume inflation and what we're going to do about that. So the liquidity metric was our fundamental solution to the volume inflation problem. So for this, we actually really committed to keep developing because, as we can see, a lot of our users are going to be new to the space. They're going to be young, and they will need our help to find the best markets to buy and sell crypto. So for us, the liquidity metric is a very simple way for users to find where they can get the best prices for the crypto assets that they want to buy and sell. for more details like this, definitely is on our methodology page. So you can check that out as well. Coming later in the year, we are also going to add more data types, including kind of crowdsourcing data from our users. So we're going to enable our users to contribute text to the page, to upload, download content types on the site and so forth. So I think all of these are part of our efforts to ensure that we continue to increase the data fidelity as well as the data accuracy and the breadth of the data that we provide on the site to everyone coming to CoinMarketCap. It will also serve as a kind of interesting measure as well, just what kind of data people are interested in and what they're interacting with on the site. So that's something that could also come in a future version of according to CoinMarketCap. So all in all, definitely get in touch with us if you want that according to CoinMarketCap Q1 report. Do sign up for our newsletter. The link is right there at coinmarketcap.com/newsletter. We will be promoting the Q1 report when it comes out there, so you won't miss it if you sign up now. Our newsletter is also a daily newsletter of the top roundups of the news. So people love that newsletter because it's super funny, super down to earth. So definitely check that out. And if you have any other questions or you just want to kind of get in touch with me, email me here. It is a weird spelling, but yeah, just email Carylyne at coinmarketcap.com. So thanks a lot for joining us for this version of According to CoinMarketCap. We are always really appreciative of your support and also, kind of really turning out here on this really interesting virtual platform to join us at this particular presentation segment that we have at BlockDown. So looking forward to meeting you in person when the virus has blown over, and looking forward to more virtual conferences like this where we can connect as well. Thank you.
Carylyne, thank you so very much for the presentation. That was incredible. We have lots of questions, so we would love for you to stick around and answer some. Do you have some time to spend with us?
To spend more time with you guys.
All right, fantastic. All right, yeah, we have absolutely tons of questions. Obviously, the acquisition of CoinMarketCap from Binance is a pretty hot and really interesting topic. We had CZ on yesterday. We didn't discuss this with him in too much depth, and we won't go into like super depth, but we do have some questions. I also have some questions, so I'm just going to go into the questions right now. What does the Binance buyout of CoinMarketCap really mean for CMC?
Yeah, good question. I think for us, we are a pretty young team. So for this whole acquisition is really good for CMC in a way that we feel like we could tap a lot into the expertise of Binance. Basically, they've grown a business from back in the day till like now where they have like almost 900 employees. I think that's something that would help us immensely as we kind of map up our own growth as well, to have those best practices that will be given to us in a more structured fashion. So I think as we scale, as we add more value to the business, having the Binance best practices and advice in these kind of scaling areas are actually really, really, really helpful to us as we grow.
Super. We just panned to a digital artwork. So we have digital artists that are actually drawing when they're watching the presentation of some of our special speakers. So just looking over here right now, it's still in the works. Over the next probably 20, 30, maybe more than an hour, this artist will continue to draw with the inspiration of your talk, and people will be able to download that and print that off and put it on their walls if they wish. I know I will. Fantastic. I'll go back to a few more questions. Here's one personal from me. What have been some of the biggest challenges for you specifically with the transition of obviously acquiring a rather large company and jumping in? So just specifically, maybe talk about one or two of the main challenges you personally have felt over the last few weeks since this has happened.
Yeah, I think there's actually a lot. I would say lots of things have changed. Obviously, the biggest one that most people do talk about is the departure of Brandon, the founder of CMC. So Brandon has decided to take a break from CMC after 7 years of working on the business. business. So I think like bidding goodbye to Brandon was definitely a big one for me. That was a big change. But I feel like he definitely feels like he's put his trust in the team as well as in our new parent company. So that's something that's occurred to me like as a pretty big change in the last couple of weeks. The other thing would be pretty much like helping with the transition, making sure that everyone feels pretty happy and optimistic about what's going to happen. And I would say almost all everyone on the team, in fact, are really excited about where we could go with this acquisition. So most of us are working really hard on Q2 goals, obviously what we're going to do for the rest of the year. So for me personally, kind of leading those efforts and making sure that we're going to stick to our plan for the rest of the year, that's been something that I've been paying very, very strong attention to as well.
Oh, excellent. All right, we have a few more here. So your current role is interim CEO. Does that mean that CoinMarketCap is currently looking to hire a new full-time CEO? Because I am available. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, the question remains, are you guys looking for somebody or yeah?
I think we haven't decided yet what we're going to do in the long term. So for now, I'm more than happy to step up. Previously, I was in a chief strategy officer role, so I decided to step up and help with the transition. So what's going to happen after that, we don't know yet. But yeah, like, I mean, we're always open to anyone who is obviously going to lead our business in a better place. But for now, we'll just keep looking for more talent to join our team. Absolutely.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I think it's an incredible acquisition.
Feel free to apply.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'm sure there's very able bodies within one of the organizations of the two for sure. Yeah, I think it's an incredibly strategic move. I had some people not put too much thought into the acquisition when they were talking about it, saying, why would Binance buy that? And obviously, there's an API connection to all of these exchanges across the board. So it's kind of like CZ going in the back door and saying, I know what's up. I think he's really determined to clean up the space and make sure that he can have a role in making sure that it's cleaned up in an official way. I think it's very strategic. I think it's one of the coolest, biggest moves in the history of blockchain and cryptocurrency. So yeah, I congratulate you.
I guess something to Sorry,
go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm not sure there's really a backdoor. I think most of the information that you see on CNC is pretty public. So there's no like special access or anything like that for CZ, if that's kind of where we're going down the path of.
Yeah, no, not going down the path. I just think it's a very strategic move to just be always on the pulse of the competition. But yeah, thank you so very much for joining us. Tune back in soon to see the completed artwork. Yeah, we'll talk again very soon. Thank you, Carylyne, very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, guys. We have an all-star cast continuing on today, so please stay with us. We'll be back right after this short break.